Happy Tuesday, everybody. We are here, you're here with me, hopefully, to play Tuesday Touchmark Trivia. So if you haven't played with us before, welcome. We're happy to have you. If you have played with us before, you probably know the rules, but I'm going to go over them again. So down at the front desk, there is a folder next to the mailboxes on the wall near the fire hydrant. And there are some sheets that talk about Touchmark Trivia. There's the rules for Touchmark Trivia. They're pretty straightforward. Basically, it says you have an answer sheet that looks like this. We do 4 rounds of 10 questions around. This just makes it easier for you to keep track. And then you can turn this in once you have all your answers filled out. To me, give it to the front desk. They'll put it in my box and I will deliver a prize to your apartment door. So thank you to everybody who's playing, to Pat, to Cordell, to Ethel, to Dawn and Mona, to Rose Bertolio, to Mary Doggett, to Steve, everybody that's playing. I really appreciate it. If you're not turning in a sheet and you're just having fun playing along, thank you. I'm so glad that you enjoy trivia as much as I do. Some of the other things are just answer honestly. I don't care if you get them right or wrong. I'm not the teacher. I'm not correcting. You don't get bonus points for getting them all right. You don't get penalized for getting them all wrong. I just want to see that you followed along and had a good time doing it. So don't research them. Don't go back and try to find the right answers or whatever. Doesn't matter. And then we have Tuesday trivia every Tuesday at 4, but I am going to start replaying it on Thursday afternoons at 4, hopefully, because we also do cocktail hour on Thursday. So it depends on if I can get downstairs and get it turned on. But 4 o'clock on Thursday, we will replay this same trivia program for everybody that might have missed it on Tuesday. So with that, let's start our first round of 10 questions. I will read the question once. I'll repeat it. And at the end of the round of 10, I'll go back over the answers. So with that, let's start with this first question. I think it's an easy one. It may not be. It's trivia. You never know. So question number 1, round 1. What plant does molasses come from? So, molasses, the thick, brown, sticky stuff in the jar. What plant do we get molasses from? That's question 1. Question number 2. What Geico characters had a very, very short-lived TV sitcom? So Geico, the insurance company. What Geico characters had a very short-lived TV sitcom? It's not the gecko. I'll give you that. All right, question number 3. What tire-making company uses a blimp to advertise its name? Question 3. What tire-making company uses a blimp to advertise its name? Question number 4. What girl in the Peanuts comic strip plays a mean game of baseball? So question number 4. What girl in the Peanuts comic strip with Charlie Brown plays a really mean game of baseball? She's an excellent baseball player. That's question 4. All right, question number 5. What does NASA stand for? The organization that sends rockets up into the atmosphere. What is that? What does NASA stand for? NASA. What does that acronym stand for? That's question number 5. Question number 6. What is the name of that canal that joins the Red Sea to the Mediterranean Sea? Question number 6. What is the name of that canal that joins the Red Sea to the Mediterranean? Maybe it's the Mediterranean to the Red Sea. So what do we call that canal? All right, question number 7. What kind of a spider has a red hourglass-shaped marking on its abdomen? So question number 7. What kind of a spider has a red hourglass-shaped spot on its abdomen? Now we're on to question number 8. I'm not giving you a lot of time to write stuff down, but you guys are good. All right, question number 8. What is Anne's last name in the Anne of Green Gables book? And books is a series of books. What is Anne's last name in the Anne of Green Gables TV series or the books, however you might have enjoyed that program? What is Anne's last name? Let's see, we must be on question number 9. Question 9. How many sides does a heptagon have? How many sides does a heptagon? It's H-E-P-T-A-G-O-N. How many sides does a heptagon have? If something is heptagonal, how many sides does it have? All right, we're on the last one. Question number 10. What 1970s let's see, I'm going to rephrase that. The 1970s TV sitcoms Happy Days and Laverne and Shirley were set in what U.S. city? So the 1970s TV sitcoms Happy Days and Laverne and Shirley were set in what U.S. city? Where did they take place? So that's number 10. All right. So let's go back and review. Maybe you want to take a minute, finish writing down an answer, but we'll go back and review. So question number 1. What plant does molasses come from? Molasses comes from sugar cane. It's sugar. It's like sugar. So sugar cane is the answer to number 1. Question number 2. I thought this was one of the harder ones on this section. What Geico characters, some of their advertising characters, had a very short-lived TV sitcom? You might remember the Geico cavemen. It's so easy, a caveman can do it. So the cavemen had a very short-lived TV series, the Geico cavemen. All right, question number 3. What tire-making company uses a blimp to advertise its name? Everybody should know this one, the Goodyear blimp. So Goodyear is the tire company. The answer to number 3, Goodyear. Number 4, what girl in the Peanuts comic strip plays a really mean game of baseball? That girl character's name is Peppermint Patty. So Peppermint Patty is the baseball player in Peanuts. All right, question number 5. What does NASA stand for? NASA stands for National Aeronautics and Space Administration. NASA, National Aeronautics and Space Administration. That's our space agency. All right, question number 6. What is the name of the canal that joins the Red Sea to the Mediterranean? And that canal is called the Suez Canal. I think it actually connects the Gulf of Aden to the Mediterranean, but don't quote me on that. So anyway, it's the Suez Canal that connects the two. All right, number 7, what kind of a spider has that red hourglass shape on its tummy? Ooh, if you've ever seen one, they're very distinctive. It is a black widow spider. So black widows. I've stepped on one before. They really crunch. Not fun. So black widow is the answer to number 7. All right, number 8. What is Anne's last name from the Anne of Green Gables series of books or the TV show? So Anne of Green Gables, her last name was Shirley. Anne Shirley. She always said Anne with an E, and she liked that better, and Shirley. All right, that was the answer to number 8. Number 9, how many sides does a heptagon have? So heptagonal, a heptagon has 7 sides. So you might think like a heptathlete. I think there's the heptathlon and there's 7 events, kind of like a decathlon has 10. All right, so a heptagon has 7 sides. Our last one, number 10. The 1970s TV sitcoms Happy Days and Laverne and Shirley took place in what city? They both took place in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So Milwaukee was the home of Happy Days and Laverne and Shirley. So that was our first group of 10. we're all done with that. Take a moment, mark down how many you have correct. Put that down and circle it if you like. Or if you have an answer sheet, it has a little space right there for the total number correct. All right, we are going to go on to round 2, our second round of trivia. All right, round 2. Okay, question number 1. Get those pens out. Question 1. In what board game would you find Mrs. White in the kitchen with the lead pipe? So that's question 1. In what board game would you find Mrs. White in the kitchen with the lead pipe? Maybe you would find Colonel Mustard in the library with the rope. What's the name of that board game? All right, question number 2. What comes next in this sequence? Million, billion, trillion, and what comes after trillion? So what comes next in the sequence? Million, billion, trillion. What comes next? That's question number 2. What comes after a trillion? All right, question number 3. What do we call a scientist who studies plants? That's pretty good. What do we call a scientist who studies plants? That's a lot to study, but what do we call that person? All right, question number 4. What was the family name of the Russian rulers who were in power from the 17th century up until the revolution in 1917? So what was the family name of the Russian rulers who were in power from the 17th century until the Russian Revolution in 1917? What was their last name? Kind of like the Windsors are the current rulers of Great Britain. What was the name of that Russian family? All right, question number 5. What do we call the pigment that determines the color of human skin? So what gives me my skin color? What gives somebody else a little different skin color? What do we call that pigment? It also causes freckles. All right, so that was question 5. What do we call the pigment that determines the color of human skin? All right, question number 6. What is that 4-sided top game that is played during the Hanukkah season? So if you spin it like a top, what is that 4-sided top game that is played during Hanukkah? Spin it like that. All right, that's question number 6. All right, question number 7. What mathematical formula is used to calculate the area of a circle? That's a tricky one. Number 7. What mathematical formula is used to calculate the area of a circle? It's a pretty common formula. So, all right. Question number 8. What is the name of the popular children's TV series that debuted on PBS in 1969? It's still on TV today. What is the name of that popular children's TV show that debuted on PBS in 1969? That was 50 years ago. All right, that's question number 8. Question number 9. Ooh, I stumped my little college grad with this one. Question number 9. How many U.S. presidents have been assassinated? This is question 9. How many U.S. presidents have been assassinated? You probably think of some. All right, that's question number 9. All right, question number 10. You could guess a number too if you don't know. All right, question 10. Quicksilver is another name for what element? So question 10. Quicksilver is another name for what element? All right, that was our 10 questions. We'll go back and review. Question number 1. In what board game might you find Mrs. White in the kitchen with a lead pipe? And I said you could find Colonel Mustard in the library with a rope or a revolver or one of those. Anyway, that board game is Clue, if you've ever played it or seen your kids or grandkids play it. Clue is the name of the board game. And question number 2. What comes next in this sequence? Million, billion, trillion. What comes after trillion? Quadrillion. That comes next. Quadrillion is the answer to number 2, a quadrillion. I don't know if they have a quadrillionaire. Does it really matter after you're a millionaire? I don't know. All right, question number 3. What do we call a scientist who studies plants? A scientist who studies plants is called a botanist. A botanist is the answer to number 3. Question number 4 was, what was the family name of the Russian rulers who were in power from the 17th century until the Russian Revolution in 1917? That family was the Romanov family. So Romanov is the answer to number 4. Question number 5, what do we call the pigment that determines the color of somebody's skin, of a human skin? That pigment is called melanin. So melanin is what determines whether you're very light-skinned, very darker skinned, whether you have freckles, all of that. So melanin is the name of the pigment. Right, number 6. What 4-sided top game is played during Hanukkah? Oh, that little top is called a dreidel. So dreidels is the answer to number 6. Dreidel or dreidels is the game. All right, question number 7. What mathematical formula is used to calculate the area of a circle? The area of a circle can be found by pi r squared. So you can make the pi symbol, pi or 3.14, whatever. Pi r squared is how you would calculate the area of a circle. And r is like the radius, which is the distance across the circle. All right, question number 8 was, what is the name of the popular children's TV show that debuted on PBS in 1969, 50 years ago? That TV show is Sesame Street. It's still on with Big Bird and Bert and Ernie and Oscar the Grouch and all of that. So Sesame Street is the answer to number 8. Number 9, the question was, how many U.S. presidents have been assassinated? The answer to that, 4. 4 U.S. presidents have been assassinated. Of course, you probably got Lincoln in 1865 and Kennedy in 1963. Those were 2 very famous ones. But also McKinley in 1901. And here's a tricky one, Garfield in 1881. So he was the one that was shot and died like a month later. So that was where the contention came with my college kid. He didn't die. Well, he didn't die right away, but he did die of that wound when he was shot in the lower back. All right. And the last question, number 10. Quicksilver is another name for what element? Quicksilver is another name for mercury. If you've ever seen it bounce around outside of a thermometer, mercury is also known as quicksilver. So mercury is the answer to number 10. All right, write those answers, correct yourself, put the correct number down, circle it, put it at the space at the bottom, whatever you want to do. We'll take a little deep breath and move on to the second half of our game. So round 3, our questions. Let me see which ones I want to do. Round 3. Oh, this one looks good. All right, I'm going to start with question number 1, round 3. Who was the host of the TV show American Bandstand from 1956 until 1989 when it ended? He also hosted the game show Pyramid, as well as a New Year's Eve TV special for many years. What was that gentleman's name? So the question was, who was the host of the show American Bandstand from 1956 to 1989? He also hosted the game show Pyramid, as well as a New Year's Eve television special. What's his name? All right, question number 2. What is the term for the collar that joins 2 oxen who are pulling a cart? So what do we call that collar that goes on 2 oxen so that they can pull a cart? What is that? I'm making like the shape of it for you. So what do we call that collar that tethers 2 oxen together so that they can pull a cart? That's question 2. All right, question number 3. What kind of a fruit was a prune before it was dehydrated and shriveled up? So what fruit are prunes made from? This is my question. So number 3, what kind of a fruit was a prune before it was dehydrated and shriveled up? All right, question number 4. What is the name of the national football team that is based in Cincinnati, Ohio? What football team is from Cincinnati? That's question number 4. All right, on to question number 5. What kind of a building would you be in if the night sky was projected up onto a domed ceiling? You've probably been there before. They have reclining seats and you're looking up at a big dome that shows the night sky. What kind of a building is that? They have one in Bozeman as part of the Museum of the Rockies. All right, so question 5, what kind of a building would you be in if the night sky was recreated by projecting pictures up onto a domed ceiling? Now we're on to question number 6. What 3 colors appear on the Italian flag? So question number 6, what 3 colors appear on the flag of Italy? There's 3. Name all 3 of them. All right. Question number 7. What was the Queen eating in the parlor in the song, Sing a Song of Sixpence? I'll let you sing it. 4 and 20 blackbirds baked in a pie. It's not that. Anyway, the question number 7. What was the Queen eating in the parlor in the song, Sing a Song of Sixpence? All right, we're on to question number 8. What saint born in Assisi was a great lover of animals and nature? So question number 8. What saint, well, he wasn't a saint when he was born, he was sainted. What saint born in Assisi was a great lover of animals and nature? We should all know this one, even if you're not a person who really follows the saints. All right, question number 9. On what part of their bodies would Eskimos wear mucklucks? So question number 9. On what part of their bodies would Eskimos wear mucklucks? And now we're on to question number 10. In the early and mid 1800s, what did we call the network of safe hiding places that were used by slaves who were escaping to freedom in the northern United States and into Canada? What did we call that network of safe places? So that's question number 10. In the early and mid 1800s, what did we call the network of safe hiding places that were used by slaves escaping to freedom in the northern United States and Canada? What did we call that? It's pretty famous. Okay, write that down and we're going to go back and review. So, round 3, question 1. I asked you, who was the host of the show American Bandstand from 1956 until 1989? He was the host for a long time. And he also hosted the game show Pyramid, if you remember that one, as well as a New Year's Eve television special. So this gentleman's name was Dick Clark. Dick Clark's American Bandstand and the Pyramid TV show, game show. All right, Dick Clark is the answer to number 1. All right, number 2. What is the term used for the collar that joins two oxen together so that they can pull a cart? So that thing on the oxen is called a yoke. An oxen, two oxen together have a yoke so that they can pull the cart. Yoke is the answer to number 2. All right, question number 3. What kind of a fruit was a prune before it was dehydrated and shriveled up? So prunes are dried plums. I wonder why we don't just call them dehydrated plums, but we don't. So prunes are made from plums. So plum is the answer to number 3. Number 4, what is the name of the National Football League team that calls Cincinnati, Ohio, their home? So the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals come from Cincinnati. That's the NFL team from there. So Bengals is the answer to number 4. Number 5. Oh, this was a tricky one. What kind of a building would you be in if the night sky was recreated by projecting pictures of it up onto a domed ceiling? That building is called a planetarium. I don't take points off for spelling, so you can spell it however you want, but planetarium is the answer to number 5. Yeah, there's one down at MSU, Museum of the Rockies, so maybe we'll go there this summer. Maybe. All right, question number 6. What 3 colors appear on the Italian flag? Well, the flag of Italy has 3 colors, red, white, and green. I think it's 3 stripes across, so red, white, and green are on the Italian flag. Question number 7. What was the Queen eating in the parlor in the song Sing a Song of Sixpence? Well, the Queen was eating bread and honey. What was it? The King was in the counting house counting out his money. The Queen was in the parlor eating bread and honey. The knave was somewhere in the garden hanging out the clothes. Oh, that was the maid. Okay, on to the next question. Number 8. What saint born in Assisi was a great lover of animals and nature? Well, this is a very famous saint, Saint Francis of Assisi. So Saint Francis is the answer to number 8. All right, question 9. What part of their bodies would Eskimos wear mucklucks? Mucklucks are boots, so they would wear them on their feet. They're those heavy, fuzzy, woolly boots that Eskimos, well, I don't think Eskimos is the PC term anymore, but Eskimos wear mucklucks on their feet. They are boots. All right, question number 10. In the early and mid 1800s, what did we call the network of safe hiding places that were used by slaves escaping to freedom in the northern states and into Canada? That network was known as the Underground Railroad. We just showed the movie Harriet before, well, when we could show movies, but the Underground Railroad is the answer to number 10. All right. Mark those down. See if you can get your total correct. Circle and at the bottom. And we're going to start round 4, the last round that we have here. So round 4, question number 1. Oh, it's an easy one. You'll get it. Number 1. What is the capital city of Arkansas? Question 1. What is the capital city of Arkansas? All right, question number 2, because question 1 was so easy, so you better write that down. Question 2, what is the most famous trophy given out by the National Hockey League to the winner of their final tournament? That's not how my question's worded, but what is the most famed trophy that National Hockey League teams compete for called? What is that? The top. If you've won the championship for the NHL, what trophy do they give you? It's got a famous name. All right, that's question 2. Question 3. What is the 3rd letter in the Greek alphabet? I'll give you the first 2. Alpha, beta. What comes next? What's number 3? The 3rd letter in the Greek alphabet. That's question 3. All right, question number 4. What species of pigeon became extinct in 1914 with the death of Martha at the Cincinnati Zoo? Oh, I just did a Cincinnati question. All right, so question number 4. What species of pigeon became extinct in 1914 with the death of Martha at the Cincinnati Zoo? I can only name one species of pigeon besides regular old pigeon. It would be that one. All right, question number 5. In which sport would a competitor put their opponent in a headlock? So question number 5. In which sport would a competitor put their opponent in a headlock? That's number 5. All right, question number 6. Oh, it's a science question. Name the 3 states of matter. Now you have to have a little science to get this question. So question number 6. Name the 3 states of matter. All right, we're on question 7. What TV series featured Jackie Gleason as a bus driver? What was the name of that TV series? So what TV series featured Jackie Gleason as a bus driver? I never watched that series. If that gives you a clue, I never watched it. All right, question number 8. Which founding father was known for his large signature on the Declaration of Independence? So he's the one everybody else signed really small in columns. And he put a big old signature at the bottom of the Declaration of Independence. What was his name? He's got a famous building named after him. All right, and the company, I think. All right, number 9. What do we call the liquid component of human blood? So question number 9, what do we call the liquid component of human blood? Sometimes people just donate that instead of donating whole blood. So question 9, what do we call the liquid component of human blood? And we're on the last question. Question number 10 out of 40. You've done 4 rounds. Good job. I think this is an easy one, but you never know. All right, question number 10. What was the name of the person who assassinated Abraham Lincoln? We all know that one. So question number 10, what was the name of the person who assassinated Abraham Lincoln? What was his assassin's name? All right, that's 10 questions on our final round. So let's go back and review. Question number 1, I asked you, what is the capital city of Arkansas? Let's where Bill and Hillary, well, not Hillary Clinton. Bill Clinton is from Little Rock. So Little Rock is the answer to what is the capital of Arkansas? Number 1, Little Rock. Question number 2, what is the most famed trophy that the National Hockey League teams compete for called? So if you win the NHL championship, what trophy do you win? You win the Stanley Cup. So the Stanley Cup is hockey's highest trophy. All right, number 3, what is the 3rd letter in the Greek alphabet? Alpha, beta, gamma. Number 3 is gamma. So that's the 3rd letter, and it's the answer to number 3, gamma. All right, question number 4, what species of pigeon became extinct in 1914 with the death of Martha at the Cincinnati Zoo? If you remember that story, passenger pigeons. So passenger pigeon is the answer to number 4. And there were apparently millions and millions and millions of them, and they were hunted to extinction. So passenger pigeon is the answer to 4. All right, question number 5. In what sport would a competitor put their opponent in a headlock? I'm doing a headlock motion. That sport would be wrestling. So wrestling is the sport where you would put an opponent in a headlock. So number 6, this was my science question. Name the 3 states of matter. All right, the 3 states of matter are solid, liquid, and gas. So things are either solid, they're liquid, I don't have any liquid, or they're gas. All right, number 7. What TV series featured Jackie Gleason as a bus driver? That series, that TV show was called The Honeymooners. I did not ever watch The Honeymooners. I've seen clips, but I've never watched it. So Jackie Gleason started as a bus driver, and he was on The Honeymooners. All right, question number 8. Which founding father was known for his large signature on the Declaration of Independence? That would be John Hancock. So if somebody says, put your John Hancock, then they're saying your big signature. So John Hancock is the answer to number 8. Number 9, what do we call the liquid component of human blood? The liquid component is known as plasma. So sometimes people just donate plasma instead of whole blood. So plasma is the answer to number 9. Last question was, what was the name of the person who assassinated Abraham Lincoln? If you didn't remember it, you're going to remember when I tell you. His name was John Wilkes Booth. John Wilkes Booth assassinated Abraham Lincoln. And that was our final question. So mark down on your answer sheet or on a piece of paper, however you want to do it, or I hope you just had fun following along. If you do have an answer sheet, turn it into the front desk or come put it on my desk in my office, and I'll make sure that you get a prize. So thank you for playing our Tuesday trivia. If you're watching on Thursday, I'm glad that you're watching on Thursday, and hopefully we can get back together and do this in person again soon. Happy Tuesday.